Running a Fever, episode 420. Mount Nebo State Park, Rim Trail. Welcome to Running a Fever. This is a show about fitness, diet, and medicine. My name's Michael Davis. My goal is to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. And I do it by loving my life enough to make it last as long as possible. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see just how beautiful the view is right from my cabin that I just walked out of. Afternoon.
You from around here?
No, Springdale.
Where
Really?
I grew up there.
Wow.
Tyler's. We're the Tylers.
Well, glad to know you.
Yeah.
I'm Michael Davis.
Well, nice to meet you. Are you living down here now or just visiting?
I'm just visiting. I'm here for the week
Yeah.
in this cabin.
We moved to Danville recently.
Oh, okay.
Out looking around. I was just wondering what the name of that mountain was.
I've been wondering that too, and I don't know.
Yeah. We'll come across somebody.
Yeah.
Well, safe travel back to Springdale.
Take care. Nice people. Yeah, so when I woke up this morning, I wasn't planning to go hiking today. And let's see, the story of that goes back a few days when I first got here, and even before I got here, it looked like the weather was going to be bad for 2 days. I was only going to get Tuesday and Wednesday morning to hike, and then it was going to turn bad Wednesday night, and then it was going to be rain on Thursday and Friday mornings. I usually like to go hiking in the morning. This currently afternoon about, I need to note the time, 13:42. I'm going to try to go out for an hour and an hour back. So 14:42. Well, I'm going to go ahead and turn off power saving. Hello.
Hi, sorry. Just over here having a whole long conversation with myself.
All right, yeah, that looks better at 142. That's a nice little stream here. And so that's the first 2 days were, like they said, they were overcast. And if you've seen or listened to the last two episodes, I went on the bench trail. Last night was a terrible storm. In fact, it actually blew over a tree into my cabin. So a tree fell on the cabin last night. I called the after hours number and left a message. Nobody ever called me back. I couldn't get through to the visitor center even though it was during working hours, presumably because the power was out. The power went out about 4:30 yesterday and was out for about 5 hours. So unfortunately that got back up, and they came out this morning, and the maintenance crew, and cut the tree up and put it all on a truck with a tractor with a big claw thing on top of it. And took it all away. It worked until, I don't know, maybe a half hour ago, if that. So that was interesting. It's the worst wind I've ever seen. And I think you remember, if you've been paying attention and going through all the episodes, that I did have a huge windstorm at Mount Magazine. And at that point, that was the worst wind I've ever seen. But now this is April 30th, 2025. So like I said, the power was out for 5 hours. And so not much to do for a while before the light went completely dark. I was trying to read, and I read by candlelight. I brought some candles for inspirational purposes. And that was had to get contorted position to read, to get the light to shine on pages where I could see it. I didn't want to use my phone flashlight because I thought I might need the phone later that night, and only way I could have charged it was to go out to my truck. So I did, in the worst part of the storm, I just hunkered down in my bathroom, sat down in the bathroom, which was the safest place to be in this cabin, because we did have a tornado warning earlier. There's another nice view. So I spent a while in there, prayed my rosary because I couldn't do anything else in the dark. I like to do that when I come out to these parks and the solitude and everything. So a little prayer while the wind was raging outside and the rain. So fortunately, it didn't turn out to be a tornado, at least not right here. Although I wouldn't necessarily know if it was a tornado, but never been in one before. Thank goodness. Then I went to bed kind of early, and I've been asleep for 45 minutes or an hour. There's the Summit Park Trail strenuous level of difficulty. I think the rim trail here, I just came on here for expedience. It's right, runs right in front of my cabin. I think I'm going to run down to Lover's Leap, see what that looks like. It's rained a lot last night, so there's a lot of water, and I don't know, it looks kind of treacherous here. Got to be a good view there, but I'm going to bypass it. Woke up and it was, I don't know, 9:30, 9:45. And I woke up when the lights came on and this fan came on and this thing they've replaced the wood fireplace with. Went and unplugged that, but I was awake and I hadn't been able to cook dinner because of the electrical outage. So I cooked dinner and stayed up for a while. So I'd stayed up late, and the forecast had changed, so I had originally planned to go out today and do some more of the bench trail. More about that in a minute. But I woke up and I'd been up late the night before, and unlike the first day and morning I was here, I actually felt some muscle fatigue and soreness from the day before and probably the 2 days before. So I was very tired and decided not to go out. I took my shower and everything. And the maintenance crew came, and this turned in to be the most beautiful day I've seen so far, and I just couldn't resist, so that's why I'm out here hiking on the Rim Trail. Rim Trail, I believe, is a moderate or intermediate level of difficulty. You can see there's already rocks that I've had to go over, and I am still feeling the fatigue in my muscles right now a little bit, but it wasn't enough to keep me away on this beautiful day. Those rocks over there look similar to what the Lover's Leap rocks probably are, based on my view from up here. And I think that might be it right down there. Rim Trail has better views than the Bench Trail. Bench Trail's in a valley kind of around the mountain. Which leads me to my next point. I had gone out an hour and come back an hour, roughly, on each two sides of the bench trail, starting from the east side parking lot, parking area. And it's 4 miles and supposed to be a 4-hour hike, which, now that I think about it, doesn't make a lot of sense. Seems like an easy trail would be a shorter hike than that time-wise. Hello.
Hello.
Howdy. Anyway, you'll hear in the episode how I went past Fern Lake. And on the second day, I went past Fern Lake again. And because I thought it was a 4-hour trip, I figured I was seeing a different lake, because I couldn't have come all the way around in just that short period of time that I've been walking that day. And it looks like up here is another tree that has fallen over, maybe in last night's storm. Beauteous nature. So I looked on the trail map and there's only one lake. It's Fern Lake. And it would have been strange for them to have two lakes in the same placards and descriptions and everything. For both lakes, and that's what I read, and I recognized it from the day before. So I now believe that I did the entire Bench Road Trail in those 2 days. And I kind of overlapped, actually, which means I did the entire trail in less than 2 hours. So there you go. I was expecting to have 4 episodes on that, possibly at another trip, but it looks like I covered the whole thing in 2 hours or less, 2 episodes. So I know I had gone past Sunrise Point the second day and Sunset Point on the first day, or Sunset Connector that leads up to Sunset Point. So there you have it. Thus I am on the rim trail today, which I've done before, and I'm sure it's shorter than the bench trail because it's right on the top of the mountain. I just did it, like I said, for expedience, because I just kind of decided that I couldn't resist the good weather and I was coming out. And I had gotten back some of my confidence and that the muscle fatigue wasn't going to bother me anymore. Not enough to keep me inside anyway. So wonderful out here. And I was thinking, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I haven't looked at the updated forecast. And the last time I checked it, it was still calling for rain and thunderstorms, perhaps. So, see what the morning brings. Maybe I'll go the other way on the rim trail. We'll see. I'm feeling up to it, and the weather looks nice enough. But I'm glad I'm getting in another episode here. This will be 4 on this trip. For some reason, my left leg is more fatigued than my right. I'm going really slow. So maybe an hour was being too aggressive or optimistic. But as they say, pain is just weakness leaving the body. No pain, no gain, etc., etc. Not as many mosquitoes as I experienced the last 2 days so far. Although with all the rain, I would expect some pools to be filling up here. The mosquitoes were terrible. And I think I complained too much. For the listener, probably too much complaining about it, but it really was taking all my mental activity at that point. Stop and rest here. This is part of the rough part that makes this a moderate trail instead of an easy one. And a couple of people on the trail today. Nobody yesterday, absolutely nobody did I pass on the way. I'm not gonna like coming up this way on the way back. So it's quite a bit of mud and rocks have been moved around, trees all over the place. Like I said, last night was one for the books. Pretty big, bad storm. No impassable objects so far today. It's the usual rocks, sticks, and stones. And I see a yellow blaze there. When I'm not out on the trail, I am usually reading on these trips. I like to read in the solitude and just occasionally walk outside and look at the scenery and remind myself how beautiful this place is. And I'm reading faster. Wouldn't be surprised if I finished 3 books start to finish on this week. Even though I'm doing a lot of walking, a lot of hiking. It's one of those streams that might have been very dry and slow moving today, but after the rain, I think that's what's causing it to be active and lively and splashy to the ears. And you can walk down there. It looks like kind of a path, but it's not marked as a trail. Wonder what that's for. There's a big metal thing. Looks like grown or driven into that tree. I wonder if there's one on the other side. I don't see one on the other side. I'll tell them what that was for. Now we have some big steps. Howdy.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. Yep, that tree probably came down not long ago, or part of a tree. Looks pretty new. Not sure where it came from. A few bugs around here. Still got cabins and houses on my right. One of the interesting things about this park is there are private homes mixed in up here on the park, in the park area. The state government obtained this land in the Great Depression, taking over foreclosed mortgages. And not all of them were foreclosed on, so those houses still remain, and there's some, I think, some legal way that the state gets to, and that is a cabin. I think that might be the one that I've stayed in before. It looks like an A-frame, probably with a loft. Beautiful view. And this is a shorter trail, but I'm sure I'm not going near as fast as I was on the Bench Road Trail. But getting a lot of sun here. And I believe it's on the west side. And the sun's kind of high in the sky. It's hard to tell from the sun, but I think I'm on the west side. Heading north. If the west is to my left, I must be heading north. So we'll see about tomorrow. I'll no doubt be tired, if not tireder than I was today. And we don't know what the weather's going to hold. I may not go out a full hour. Looks like I've only been going about 25 minutes, half an hour. I'm worried about my left leg here. And there's something behind me. I don't know if it's an e-bike or what. Maybe just a chainsaw when they're handling some situation like there was at my cabin this morning. Lots of rocks bleached by lichen, it looks like. I remember my 6th grade science, I think is where I learned about lichen. So yeah, I think I mentioned I've been reading faster. I've actually read 25 books this year, and we're not halfway through. My goal was 50, and one a week with 2 weeks off. And I'm, I think, 9 books ahead of schedule, something like that, according to Goodreads.com. And this looks like a parking area, some kind. Notice there are tennis courts up here. Drove by them a couple of times. Maybe a pool somewhere, I don't know. Certainly wouldn't want to swim in Fern Lake, that's for sure. Some sort of, probably a water processing plant or something. Summit Park Trail. Well, I'm pretty sure that's not part of the rim trail. So where does the rim trail go? Yellow. No, I don't want to get into a strenuous trail. I did bring the trail map with me because it's too big to fit in a pocket. It's huge. So it's got an arrow down, which is interesting. It doesn't have an arrow forward, up, which would mean forward, or to the right, which would mean to the right. But I've been on yellow blazes, and there's a yellow blaze and a red blaze. So I think I have to go down this way. Been walking for 34 minutes, according to my watch. And it's about 35 minutes into the walk. Thinking about turning back. Definitely feeling the fatigue in my left leg. Yeah, I'm gonna turn on back. I'll keep the recording going since we're not quite up to an hour yet. I think an hour is a good recording time. I can deal with it on my computer. 4K video takes a lot of resources. And on the other days, I went out an hour and recorded that whole thing and didn't record the trip back. Today, I'll keep recording up to an hour. And we probably won't make it all the way back. That's okay, the trail looks different depending on which direction you're going. It's a different viewpoint. It's like if we went back in time, that would look different than going forward in time. Sometimes wish I could go back in time. Correct some mistakes I've made or make some different decisions. Guess it's not really worth the time to make a list of those, since it's impossible to go back in time. I do like time travel movies, though, and books. There's a guy using a leaf blower in one of the cabins. And I can see the maintenance people still at work, of course. There's the tractor they used this morning. There's the truck they used this morning, and one of those little vehicles, whatever you call them. Truck they used to haul away the tree. That tractor, I'm pretty sure, could fit on the trail, the bench road trail that I was on the last 2 days. But I don't know if it has enough power to move some of the tree trunks I saw. They were pretty huge. And I'm encountering some insects flying around me. I don't think they're mosquitoes, but some of them might be. More storm damage. Not terribly great having a maintenance crew working around your cabin for half a day. It's kind of noisy, but makes for an interesting experience. I've been through storms before, but Never had a tree fall on my cabin. So, and I had to watch them do their work. Sweating a little bit out here, but there's a nice breeze. Steep steps there. Gotta be careful. Now we go back up this thing. It's hard to imagine how these things were built. More insects now. Oh. Maybe there's a museum somewhere around here that tells more about the history. Pretty steep. Didn't want to fall down that hill. I suppose if you're a really hardcore hiker, you actually go off trails, which may be certainly more adventurous. But you'd have to know where you're going and how to get back to where you started, or how to get back to civilization. Speaking of that, I'm reading a book, and this I suppose falls into the happiness aspect. It's a spiritual book. It's letters from Henry David Thoreau to a spiritual seeker. Spiritual seeker, he might have been Gray, I'm not sure, but he lived in Worcester, Mass. And Henry David Thoreau had been conquered, and I think they met up in Concord, and the seeker guy really found inspiration in in Henry David Thoreau, and I believe this was before he even published his most famous work, which is Walden, about his almost 2 years living alone out in nature at Walden Pond. And it was one of the classics, and I really enjoyed it last time I read it. So it's one of those timeless works of literature. Anyway, I just started reading that. I haven't read any of it on this trip. I've read 2 Tony Hillerman novels and most of the way through the second one. Probably will finish that today. And then I have a book by Faulkner, one of my favorite authors, called Mosquitoes. It's probably my favorite work of his. Even though I don't think it's among what are listed as his most, literarily appreciated works. It's fun. It's a fun book. But I will probably finish that one too. Even if I go out tomorrow, I'll have plenty of time for reading tomorrow. I don't know, maybe the bad weather is just blown through and tomorrow will be just like this. Maybe I'll take you on the other side. South side from my cabin. I think all those big clouds just leave shadows. You can't normally see those in the city reflected onto the green hills like they are now. It just gets dark in the city and you say, oh, it's a cloud passing over. Get out of the city if you can. Maybe you can't live out here in more wide open country, but even the town down below, Dardanelle, traffic is crazy. It's a pretty small town. Things you see out here you just can't see in the city. Things you can feel out here. Everything, all the senses. One of the good things about them cutting down that tree is it was a pine tree, I know, because I had to move a branch out from a limb from right in front of the door. And I got sap on my fingers. But you walk outside and you can smell that pine. Not like a candle or an air freshener, but the actual pine tree. Also in that book, Thoreau book, found mention of a book that he wrote before Walden that I'd never heard of. It's something like 2 weeks on the Merrimack and something or other, having to do with, I think, rivers. Probably, maybe something similar to Walden on the water or something. I don't know. I want to check it out though. Problem if you're a book or reading addict is everything you read leads you to something else to read. and you never get everything done. But why would you want to get everything done? What would you do then? Summit Park. The name doesn't sound like something strenuous, but that is a strenuous trail according to the signs. I had gone out as the planned today, medium term plan, and I probably would have gone to the Miller's Goat Trail. There's another thing I found out looking at the documentation is Miller's Goat Trail is actually longer than the Bench Road Trail. I thought the Bench Road Trail at 4 miles would be the longest. Miller's Goat Trail meanders. That's one of the reasons it's longer, is it zigzags everywhere. And it's a moderate difficulty. And it goes around the entire mountain as well. So crosses over the Bench Road Trail many times, as we saw. So it's actually 6 miles. And I didn't see a time rating on it. But probably significantly longer than the less than 2 hours it took me to do Bench Road Trail. All right, we're nearing the 1 hour point, and this will be actually probably 40 minutes for you as we edit it down. Interesting. Splits off there. So I hope you're enjoying this week of Mount Nebo. It's turned down to 4 episodes so far. Remains to be seen whether there'll be another one, but we got to see quite a bit of the park and enjoy some communing with nature. So if you ever come here, you'll know what the trails are like. Till then, if you got the fever, keep it burning. And if you don't, catch the fever. And we'll talk to you next time on Running the Fever.